Hello, my name is Lisa Nyans, and I am the Executive Director and Superintendent of the Grand Rapids Child Discovery Center. And I just wanted to share with you some of the information we went over last night at the new parent meeting, both just in case you're a new family and you were not able to attend last night, or for veteran families to make sure that you have access to all the information that was shared. And there's many valuable reminders and questions that were answered during that time. If you watch or listen to this video, the thing that I most want you to know at the end of our time together is that if you have any question at all, anything that you're wondering, anything you want to check on with your student, please call the school office at 459-0330 or email me at nuyensl@childdiscoverycenter.org. Our job is to make sure that you have the answers to the questions that you have, that you're pointed in the right direction to connect to a staff member that you might need to speak to, and you don't have to memorize everything I'm about to share with you. If you are wondering, just ask, and we are here to help. So the first thing I want to talk about is attendance. The research shows that attendance at school is incredibly important, both for children's continued academic development, but also for social emotional development. And this means that at about the 10th day of absence is when research shows there begins to be negative impact for children, both in their academic growth and in their social emotional development. So it's really, really important that we keep absences throughout a school year at less than 10. COVID complicates this a little bit because if a child gets a COVID infection, they are out of school for at least 5 days, right? That is still the CDC guideline. That is still the health department guideline. We follow that. So what I am asking is that families limit all other absences. So if you have a vacation you want to take, if you have a trip that you need to go on, if you have appointments that you need to make, to do those either after school or during one of our breaks. So we have spring break, winter break, and midwinter break when especially trips could be scheduled. So you might think in October, oh, it's no big deal. My child's in third grade. We got this great price on a trip and they're going to miss 5 days of school. No big deal. It really is no big deal. But then you take that trip in October and your child gets COVID in January and now they're at 10 days. Then they get the stomach flu. They're at 11 days. Then you have an appointment. They're at 12 days. And this is very serious because after 10 days is when we really start to see that negative impact. So we are back to communications about attendance. We'll be letting if your child is kind of in a warning area for attendance and things like that. But I just want to make sure that families are thinking about the reality. It's a very new reality of the 5 days for a COVID infection because usually childhood illnesses, you miss a day for the stomach flu, you might miss a day for strep because you have 24 hours of antibiotics. No big deal. So COVID necessitates a much longer absence than typical childhood illnesses. So please be aware of that as you are planning your travel plans and other things you might have going on throughout the school year. The second thing I want to make sure that everybody knows is in this new parent memo that is linked both on our website and on this link letter, is it includes a list of staff that work with your children and work at the school that are not teachers. So that if your child says, oh, Miss Jessie did this, or Miss Tanya did that, or I talked to Miss Megan about this, who these staff members are and what they do, how to get in contact with them if you need to. With education based on relationships, one of the things that we make sure that we do is we have a lot of staff members working in the building. So about 30 staff members working in this building with 285 students. And that is to make sure that every child has some adult that is that they're having a really strong relationship with in addition to their teacher. So it could be the para, it could be the interventionist, it could be Mr. G in the gym, it might be Miss Jacqueline from music, but just so that you know who everybody is that works in the building, that information is available to you. The other thing I want to make sure that families know is that we are starting out with community meetings right at the beginning of the school year. They'll begin after Labor Day, and they will be every other week with third, fourth, and fifth grades having their community meeting in the morning of Wednesdays, and K through 2 having their community meetings in the mornings of Thursdays. Those dates will be able to be found in the link letter, in your child's classroom newsletter. And what happens at the community meetings is it's a time for multiple grade levels to come together. Each time we have a community meeting, there is a class that will give a community offering. So this will be something that they want to show the rest of the school community or share with us or teach us. Could be a skit, it could be a song, it could be sharing some work that they've done. And parents are always welcome to come to those meetings. So once you drop off your child in the back, you would go around and park, and then you'd come in the back door of the gym, sign in, and stay for the community meetings. They usually last about 15, 20 minutes. So it's a really great way to connect with other parents, to lay eyes on your child's teacher, say hello, and see the children in action. Um, the next thing I would like to talk about is communication with your child's teacher and staff. So, 99.9% of the communications that you'll need to have with the school are likely with your child's teacher, because that is the person that's with your child all day long, spends those hours with them, and knows them the best. When you email your child's teacher, please give them 24 to 48 hours to respond. Those are business hours, business days. 1 to 2 business days. We do not require that teachers answer emails over the weekend. They may do that, but it's not a requirement or an expectation. We want our teachers to connect with their families, do other things, have healthy and whole lives outside of school. And so we need to be granting them grace during those times, and protecting their time and their boundaries during the weekends and in the evenings. Do not expect your child's teacher to respond to you during instructional time. So that's from 8:20 to 4:15 each day. They may respond during their planning period. If you have emailed your child's teacher and it's been longer than 2 days and you haven't heard back, please let me know, and I can run down to their classroom and just kind of give them a tap and say, hey, there's an email for you waiting in your inbox, and make sure that you two are able to connect. The other thing with this is that teachers are available to meet with you. Should you have a concern, should you want to meet in person, should you want to meet virtually, simply email them and let them know, hey, I would like to connect with you, talk over a few things. When can we meet? And our teachers really want to make sure that you're getting the information, the answers, the connections, the relationship that you need to help your child be successful. And so they will be able to make a meeting with you at that time. This year, staff will not be using personal cell phones at all to text with parents. So please make sure that you sign up for the Remind app, and that's where any texting will happen. But most communication should be happening over email and via the phone. 2 more things. One is about meals. Breakfast and lunch are free for all students every day. Breakfast is from 8 to 8:20, and then lunch is at your child's lunchtime. If you want your child to eat breakfast at school, please drop them off at the early end of that 8 a.m. drop-off time, because they need to be able to have time to get their breakfast and eat it before instruction begins at 8:20. So think about that as you're planning your morning routine. The other part about lunch is all students can have school lunch every day for free, but students are also welcome to bring their lunch. So you might do a combination of both. You might do one or the other, whatever works for your family. Just make sure that your child knows what their plan is for lunch each day. And then the last thing I wanted to address was visitors and volunteers in the building. So we do not take unplanned visitations to classrooms. This is not something that is a good practice for students in the classroom, for teachers in terms of interrupting instruction, but we absolutely welcome planned visitations to classrooms. So if you want to come in and observe, you want to be in your child's classroom, you want to see what's going on firsthand, you're absolutely welcome to do that. And we, in fact, encourage it. So you would just email your child's teacher or let the office know you'd like to visit your child's classroom. We will arrange a time, and then you would come in to the school, sign in, get your visitor's badge, and then be able to head up to your child's room. If you are going to be visiting the classroom frequently, or you are volunteering in the classroom where you would be around the children, we do require a volunteer background check for everybody who's regularly with our children, as you would expect, I think, and hope would be true for anybody who would regularly be around your child. That's something that Miss Rachel, Miss Jessie can do in the office very quickly, and really it takes just a few minutes to make it happen. So just be aware of that. Similarly, I am available to meet with you, to talk with you, to plan with you and strategize about how to best support your child. I also request scheduled appointments. So as opposed to coming into the office and saying you need to meet with me right away, which I know is a very really real feeling sometimes. I often, throughout the day, I have many things scheduled to support teachers in their classroom. I have duty time and observations and things that I'm doing throughout the day, and I want to be able to give you my full attention. So please go ahead and email me or call the office and arrange to come in. Again, in person, via Zoom, whatever works for you. I will make sure that I find a time that works best for your schedule. The other part of that is that if you do have urgent or emergency communication that's outside of school hours, it's really important that the school knows when things come up. If a tragedy has happened to your family, if something has happened with your child, that's really important that we know before we see them in the morning. If there's some resources you need to be connected to. In those evening and weekend hours, I am on call at all times. And so please do email me. Please do use my email, my cell phone, which is 517-206-3868. Leave a voicemail, send a text. I will get to you as soon as possible. Of course, I'm also a parent and I have 4 children of my own, but typically I can step out of an event or an activity or let you know, like, I'll get back with you within the next hour, and make sure that the relevant other staff besides myself that need to know your information have access to it. So I do want you to know that although I ask that you respect the teacher's time out in the evening and on the weekends, that if something should come up, you will absolutely have access to me and to the necessary school staff in the event of an urgent concern or an emergency. We are here to help you with any of those things. So that is all that I have to share today. There's many more processes and practices and procedures to be aware of. The full family and student guidebook can be found on the website, childdiscoverycenter.org. Click on the parent tab and then click on the guidebook. Our policy book for the board policy book for governance for the school can also be found on the website. If you click on board and then board policy book. So any questions that you have, again, if you are just not sure, who is the right person to ask about this or what should I do, call Miss Jessie in the office at 459-0330 or drop me an email and we will get you pointed in the right direction. Looking so forward to a new and great school year with each of you, your families, your children. Have a great weekend and we will see you on Monday.